very cool. For calling a person's home phone and their personal phone number to harass them off the job, just on a personal level, you have now crossed into the Rubicon of being a fucking retarded psycho. That's it. You have been. And I've said this for years now. For fucking years, I've said this. This has been a very common paradigm. Because again, you know, I always say about how why should a civilized society tolerate, you know, certain kinds of behavior, like, you know, crazy fucking crackheads on a bus. Like, I view this as the same thing. Why should a civilized society tolerate harassment? There's no reason to. There's no reason to tolerate that. And that's it. Wrong category? Yeah, I don't even know why I'm in that category, actually. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was. Anyway, let me go back over. I'll change it. Yeah, I don't know how I got put in that. Anyway. Maybe I had done that. Ubisoft pruning you already? Guys, I'm not ready to play yet. I gotta look at other stuff and then I'll get to it. More Teslas got burnt this morning? Yeah, I saw that. Big surprise. You know, domestic terrorism goes hard, apparently. And so we're going to look at that. But anyway, we'll go through a few more of these, and we're going to find the rest of it and just kind of go through some of this stuff, and then we'll go from there. And the tolerant left, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if the thing is that if your ideology, you know, basically takes you to the place where you think that it's okay to destroy innocent people's property, you have left the realm of reality. Yeah, it's nuts. Let's see here. Okay, Trump has declared London unrecognizable because it's been opened the door to jihad. Okay, here we go.
We've seen what happened when Europe opened their doors to jihad. Look at Paris. Look at London. They're no longer recognizable. And I'm going to get myself into a lot of trouble with the folks in Paris and the folks in London. But you know what?
Maybe the folks that run Paris and the folks that run London, but everybody that I know that's in Paris and that's in London, actually, I think they agree with Trump. I think they've let in too many fucking migrants, and it seems like they haven't assimilated very well, and the government's done a really bad job at doing it. And I think that, especially in terms of London, there's like, you know, accusations of unfair or disproportionate policing. It's a huge issue, massive issue.
That's the
it's a massive issue.
They are no longer recognizable. And
You're so far off? You think so? I'm French and we're invaded by migrants? Yeah, I don't know about that. And you're so far off. I'm just saying that's what I've been hearing for a long time. Yeah, I mean, hey, and by the way, I'm sure there's people in London and people in France that don't feel this way, but I hear a lot of people that do.
Can't let that happen to our country. We have incredible culture, tradition. Nothing wrong with their culture, their tradition. Can't let that happen.
There's a lot of concentration on this. Why is this? Where is this?
They don't want to assimilate? Well, I mean, that's what happens. I mean, it's their fault. I mean, they let all these people come into the country. They should have sent them back, and they've caused this problem themselves. I think the problem is that when you have a mass migration like this, I think that the reason why it's worked well in America in a lot of cases, and not all cases, is that you do it gradually. I think the problem with what happened in Europe, and this is just, again, like, I don't live in Europe. I'm not an expert in this. This is just what I've noticed, is that it seemed like it has seemed like it's happened too fast. It's happened too fast, and they've brought in too many of these people too quickly in order for them to properly assimilate into the culture. And so, yeah, I think so. It's because of the Syrian war? Well, whatever the reason is, it's still going to be, like, whatever, there's a war in Syria, what does that have to do with London, you know, doing what's best for the people that live in London? If it doesn't, it shouldn't matter. It has nothing to do with it. The fact is that, like, if you're a country, or you're a city, and you're not doing what is in the best interest of your population, then you're fucking wrong. That's it. So if you're taking the power that they've given you, and then you're using it to help people that are not these people, and you're doing it in a way that's detrimental to the people that are there, that's a big problem. So yeah, exactly.
There's
They created the war to invade
concoction.
nearby countries as part of the plan. Well, whatever the plan is, you know, it sure seems like to me it's not.
Sometimes my shit's
And
just
the UK bombed Syria. What do you mean? What does that have to do with them taking in immigrants or migrants? Why would so because they bombed it, now they have to take in all the migrants? No, that's not true. There's plenty of places that get bombed. They don't have to take in all the migrants.
No, 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 no.
And again, it's not what's in the best interest of the people that live there.
Don't want
So
that.
yeah, it's just that simple. And it doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all. And so anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll pull somebody up here just real quick. This is a big disagreement. You're stupid, bro. Why am I dumb? What's the problem with this? So why do you think
one meticulous experimentation? Test the vial. What's that?
If you create migrants, you have to take them in? No, you don't.
No.
I disagree.
What the?
Nope. Nope. Wrong. I decided you're
For
wrong.
1 million of these, just all dead.
There's no.
Spill about dissolve this bottle of rejuvenating ooze. Oh my god.
The empathy is for the people that live in fucking Paris. It's for the people that live in fucking London. There's where the empathy's for. It's for looking at them, making sure that they're in a good
That's fucking
position
hysterical.
and
It's
not
funny.
putting them at risk
Like that.
and fucking up their country. It's that simple. Or city in this regard. Yeah, it's crazy. And
Very simple.
What to say. We tried it, didn't work. Yeah, it's crazy. Pull me up. You want to know what's happening? I'm English, living in East London. Everybody is going to have. It's the most retarded take I've heard from you. What is this? And yeah, actually, you know what? If you want to give me an argument for why you disagree, it's totally fine. But you're stupid and you're wrong is not an argument. Like there's no argument with this at all. It's just stupid. Like it's just like thoughtless chatter, right? And that's it. And yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time with listening to that. You're a retard. I have no other arguments. Yeah, I mean, again, if you want to give an opinion on this, that's fine. But that's not an opinion. That's just an attack. And so anyway, even if you did some things you're wrong, there's other ways to compensate from taking migrants. Yeah, by that logic, we should take in all the people in the Middle East we bombed after they threatened to hurt U.S. citizens. I mean, it's just not. The thing is that a government should always act in the best interest of the people that it's elected to represent. And if you're not acting in the best interest of those people, then you have a problem. It's really just that simple. And any other sort of complexity that's being added into this is always, almost always emotional manipulation. It's emotional posturing, weaponized empathy, or some other form of manipulation. The fact is that no, it's not a good idea to bring in a bunch of people from a completely different country and then have them, what do you call it? And then have them not really assimilate, and you do it too quickly. Yeah, you take care of your own people first. Exactly, it's that simple. And so, yeah, people can have a base conversation with you. They can emotionally trigger and go off the rocker. It's because they're stupid. That's the reason why. They're stupid and they don't know how to think. And so as soon as they hear something that they disagree with, they immediately go crazy. That's the reason why it happens. So yeah,
that in itself is fucking crazy.
I'm not sure about that. I don't know what the demographics are at all. This is why you get London Stand was coined by French agencies who started as a base of radicalization in the mid-90s. I don't know about that. 100% correct.
Stuff.
Off the West.
Most stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, this is a result of letting in all of those migrants. Don't do that. They shouldn't have let them in. It was a mistake. So a country should allow immigrants, should continue to allow immigrants even after doing so as proof they don't respect the culture and way of life? Where is the proof they aren't assimilating? Well, I've seen a lot of videos about it. Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos about it. I've seen tons of evidence of it. You know, there's places where apparently you're not even supposed to go. And
what the fuck is this?
In Europe. And also, I mean, maybe it's all a elaborate psyop, and I actually don't know what I'm talking about, but here's what I've seen. I've seen this happen for 10 years. This has been a conversation point for 10 years. So yeah, it's pretty much bullshit. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. You're right. Yeah, I've seen videos of this multiple times. And how is it that you see videos of this and you're going to tell people it's not real?
Dead.
You can't see what's in plain sight. You're watching a video of it. It's all prop. Yeah, everything's made up. Everything is made up that you're disagreeing with. Yeah.
I need to get
Anyway,
closer.
yeah, that's what's gonna happen. And I'm not sure. EU cannot follow your logic. That's close to right politic views. We are indoctrinated to do everything for people who have it worse than us blindly. Well, that's going to be your downfall then. If you do things that are, not in the best interest of your people, eventually you will run into problems. You will, and that's what's going to happen. Are there still no-go zones in Sweden? I thought Tim Pool found areas like that while he's traveling. I've heard about that, but I don't know if that's entirely true. It's not sure. Let's see here. You're right. There's tons of places called no-go zones. I love how people that aren't from France say that you're wrong when talking about France. I mean, I've just seen videos of it, and it seems like it's a big issue. Now, maybe that's
Seems to be.
but it sure seems like from my observation, again, which is secondhand, is that it seems like they've brought in too many migrants too quickly, and they haven't assimilated, and it's caused a bunch of cultural problems over there. That's basically what it seems like has happened. And I think it would happen anywhere if you bring in a bunch of people like that. Now, maybe that's not true, but from everything I've observed and I've seen, it sure as fuck looks like it's true. So there you go. And let's see here. I'll go back down. Too quickly or no plan for integrating him? I don't think that any country has any obligation to take migrants from any other country unless there's a prior agreement for it. So, like if I was London or France or whatever, I wouldn't be taking in any of these migrants because that's simply not in the country's best interest. So why would I do something that's against our best interest? It would be silly. But, again, they're going to do what they're going to do, and maybe there's another reason for it. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, we saw this yesterday. Yeah, there was another person who I guess was on a green card as well. Let me see if I can check. Attended, yeah, I think that she was on the green card as well. Didn't Asmon praise this dude for his speaking off the way through the world? Just condemned his violence. She did the same. When USA will report Muslim people for supporting terrorism for their religion alone, it's not Muslims that are doing this.
What the fuck is going on now?
This is going to be funeral of the leader of a terrorist organization. Why do you... These
What the heck is going on here?
much damage to just average, middle-of-the-road, reasonable...
Would let Anakin babysit my younglings? No.
For the most part.
Nope.
And that you do so much damage to
Fuck
them
him.
by trying to say that this is the religion when it's somebody who's going to the funeral of the leader of a terrorist organization. I mean, like, what is this? It's crazy. Maybe they hate Muslims more than the right? I don't know. But yeah, surely they're assimilating. I guess this one isn't, and she's not going to now because she's getting fucking deported. So there you go. And yeah, going to a funeral is now terrorism? No, it's not terrorism, but it's supporting terrorism. If you're going to a funeral to pay your respects to somebody like Osama bin Laden, then yeah, I think that's supporting terrorism. I do. And this is common sense. How can anybody not think this? Like, what are we talking about? What a dishonest and ridiculous thing to say. Obviously it fucking is. Like, what are we doing here? What are we talking about? Most terrorist attacks are committed by third-generation Muslims that are supposed to integrate it. That's fine, but all I'm saying is that
Choose the plethora of all mining fundamentals. What the fuck is this? Which one?
I would view this
Which
as
one?
a reason to revoke somebody's card. Absolutely. 100% I do.
Learn how to mine.
And,
What
somebody
possible
brain dead
mounted.
people. Yeah, I know. It's been really sad to see how many people that have been
Chunks of ore
captured
dislodgeable
by
mine.
such dishonest
Additional,
and emotionally
mastering
charged rhetoric
mysterious.
and dialogue, and they've had their own
The cooldown
empathy
reduction and
weaponized against them, to where they're now advocating for people that are
fucking getting
in
hit by shit.
support of terrorists
The
and
fuck, man?
terrorist leaders and terrorist organizations. It's really sad. It's extremely sad to see this happen. And I think, by the way, I think it's in its death throes. I think it's going away. And that's the reason why it's so extreme right now. Is
What's up,
because
Travis?
it's being cornered and it's being removed.
Guten
And
Morgen.
that's the reason why. And so you're having a lot of extreme people that are saying stuff like this and fixating on it. The reason why is very simple. It's because they know that they're losing.
High
and,
quality,
yeah,
that's
it's
what I
absolutely
want.
ridiculous. Yeah, they know they're losing. They know that this is an 80-20 issue, and they're crying about it. And this is the only thing that they
How many
have
do I
left.
got?
Yeah, this is the last gasp, exactly. I don't know. The extremism seems to be growing, not shrinking. No, I really think that you're. I think that you're mistaken about that. I think this is very much on the way out. And I think if you look at it on Reddit, you're probably not going to get that viewpoint. But if you look at it on YouTube or you look at it on other platforms that are more moderate and don't exercise heavy censorship, then you're going to see a much more balanced perspective. So yeah. And let's see here. Younger generations can smell bullshit too. Exactly. People are letting emotional manipulation get the better of them. Absolutely. And museum taken over by migrants in Paris since like December. No, I haven't seen anything about that. I never heard about that at all. So I'd have to go and look at it myself. This is the first time I'm hearing of it. So yeah, people mistake loudness with popularity. Yeah, I think so too. A lot of these people are like hyper vigilant and hyper focused, but there's actually very few of them. So I wouldn't really go and act like these people are like a massive group and like a massive interest group. I think that it's actually a very small interest group. I feel like people take the emotional high ground because they don't want to try a logical approach and end up wrong. You can't prove someone's feelings wrong. I think that most people just think based off of emotions and that's it. My local subreddit Columbus was up in arms over this. Let's see here. Article is even worse. Didn't get access to a lawyer. Only allowed one call before her phone was taken away. She's involved in the evaluation of kidney transplant patients. This type of treatment has downstream effects. I just don't understand why. We deported the worst of the worst kidney doctor. If somebody's supporting a terrorist organization or a terrorist leader, then they're pretty bad. Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think that the big problem is that
What is that?
this is a big issue that happens, is that I don't think that there's enough of a connection that's drawn between these groups and their actions. And I think the issue is that because that connection isn't drawn and that connection isn't made, people don't understand the consequences of what these people do, right? I think that's the main issue. Due process is a must, though, regardless of what they support. Well, I don't know what the due process is with actually processing somebody who is a green card holder. Now, obviously, she should receive due process, but sometimes that due process isn't going to be the exact same as it is for a citizen. So that's what the difference is. Yeah, due process is only for U.S. citizens? Well, it depends, right? There's a process for each group of people, and each group of people deserves that process. But sometimes that process is expedited for people that are in certain groups, like being a non-citizen. You know, that's it. And so anyway, if you support terrorists, go back. Yeah, it's pretty much the way I feel about it too, right? And yeah, it's really weird. And she was an H-1B holder. They can be revoked by the government at will. Well, good call. W government. Absolutely. And yeah, at this point, the people that had to critically think used on this level, now they didn't. Everyone else is being forced to make sense out of something. I think that a lot of people just don't. And again, I think it's all about trying to. It's basically different ways to. Anything that Trump does, people are going to look at it as if it's a bad thing. It doesn't matter whether it's actually something that's positive or not. People are going to just look at it and interpret it as it's bad. So even if he's deporting people who are supporters of literal terrorists, and not even just a terrorist, but the leader of the organization, that you know, it's Hezbollah, right? It's a terrorist organization. You know, people that are supporting that and sympathetic towards it, they're going to be in favor of that.
Will you have a go
and so
at
that's it.
some
What causes this brain rot?
I'd love
What
to go with
causes
you,
the brain rot is
I'm a little busy here.
It's emotional manipulation. It's completely emotional, and if you think about it for more than 5 seconds, you'd immediately know that it's stupid. So yeah, it's literally that simple. Let's see here. I'll look at the rest of these. Look up the, I want to hear about, pretty big story here. Oh, I don't know what that is. Yeah, Migrants Gate, Leak Paris. I have no idea what that is. Do you think the government's using the word extremist a lot to take away people's personal freedom? No, I don't think so. I think that extremist is a very effective word to use whenever you have a person who's attending the funeral of the leader of a terrorist organization that's killed multiple people. And civilians. Yeah, no, I actually think that's very fair. I think that's a great word to use. I totally agree with it. I think that is extreme. And I think anybody would view it that way. Yeah, it's crazy. 14th Amendment says all people in jurisdiction may not be deprived of due process. Is not specific to only citizens. Well, there's clearly different priorities and different systems of due process. Due process is not the same for everybody, but at the same time, obviously, it's going to be fair for each group of people. So yeah, like for example, the due process of somebody who is a non-citizen is going to be different than somebody who is a citizen. And so like, and also there's different rights these people are afforded as well. So yeah, the Alien Enemies Act, yeah, clearly. Due process is access to the law? Yeah, but access to the law is determined based off of your status as an individual in the country. That's the whole point that I'm making. Due process is no process? Well, we'll see. I mean, clearly there was a process here. It's just that people disagree with it. Let's see here. Sakurai says Japanese developers should avoid trying to appeal to Western tastes. I did actually see this. Let me see if I can pull it up and look at it myself. Where did it go? And where did we find this? I guess maybe it was from yesterday. Maybe I can't find it. Well, anyway, this has been... Oh, it's this here. Yeah, advocates for authentic Japanese game design. This is the creator of Super Smash Bros. Has advised Japanese game developers to focus on creating games that appeal to Japanese tastes rather than trying to cater to Western audiences. He believes that the global appeal of Japanese games lies in their unique cultural elements. The advice has sparked an online debate, with many people supporting the idea that Japanese games should retain their distinctiveness. However, there are concerns that his comments could be misconstrued to support unrelated cultural and political agendas. Well, the problem is that they're not unrelated. The reality is that a big issue that a lot of American and and I'm speaking for myself, by the way. So like, I don't know about everybody else, but this is the way that I feel about it. I feel like a lot of American games have been infected with a type of, identity politics and kind of like just general wokeness that they have in them. And because of that, it's alienating and it's immersion breaking, because you realize that this game is being made as a propaganda piece rather than necessarily a piece of art. And so discussion underscore between maintaining cultural authenticity. I think that he's right just on a fundamental level, right? You take a step back, and if there's a bunch of people that are consuming content that's from Japan, maybe the reason why is because of the way that it's created in Japan. So if you're changing the content to make it more congruent with Western tastes, well, if the people that were there wanted games that had a Western flavor to it, they wouldn't be playing the Japanese games in the first place. So this is absolutely a good idea. He's 100% right about this. So yeah, 100%. Sometimes messaging's okay if people like the message. Well, this is another really big component, is that I actually think that people have no problem with politics in video games. People do have a problem with heavy-handed, patronizing, current American progressive liberal woke politics in video games. This is a very, very big difference.
Liberal bullshit.
About, the idea of a character being non-binary versus the idea of the military-industrial complex. Like, or the idea of democracy, or the concept of racism, like in Metaphor. Again, and like you're talking about fringe social identity issues, and you're comparing that to like massive cultural values. And one of them is approached in, I think, a good way, and the other one is approached in a bad way. So that's it. No one wants woke games. It seems like that's it. Yeah, he doesn't know that Western doesn't equal woke. Well, American sure seems like it does. But I don't know. The answer is simple put. Japanese are not making games for the ever-elusive modern audience. Well, I think it's very simple. If people are going to Japan to play video games, it seems like the reason why is that they like what the Japanese do with video games. So by making video games more like Western video games, they are effectively making them less for the people that sought them out in the first place. So there's a reason why people like playing these games, and that's I think it makes perfect sense. So yeah.
What's up, Adam?
Japanese make games to carry away from first sensibilities. Give me 1 second. I'll see if I can find one more thing. Okay. Yeah, it should be good. And anyway, it's because they're not woke. I think that's a very, very narrow viewpoint of it. I think that also it's just the way that they do storytelling. Like, I think that the way that a lot of like
I am just flying around
storytelling is like extremely
mining mats, I guess.
Right, where it's like you start off fighting goats
in a few hours before work. Mess around, have some coffee.
Western stories don't really have that type
of power
scaling quite as
I
often.
don't really get.
Now, it happens, of course.
I only
right?
get like
Of
an
course it
hour or
happens,
so.
but it's much more common that Western stories are a lot more grounded. And
Just
this
messing
is, again,
around.
just my
Something to do.
evaluation of it. And so a lot of times you have like these incredible, like supernatural
What are you up to
effects
today?
forces in these like Eastern games, and I think that that is an appeal that's very different than I think with a lot of Western games. You're right though, and I'm just making I'm making a generalization. Okay, so there's plenty of examples of both sides, but that's what I've noticed myself in a lot of cases. So
Fuck am I
yeah.
hooked up on?
And gritty realism is so boring. Western devs got to give that shit up. I disagree. I think that you can use
Exactly.
fun, and you should focus on doing what you think is.
I'm
best
glad
for
I'm not
you.
the only one.
But
I
yeah,
thought it was
I
me
think so.
sometimes.
A while ago, so let's see here. I'll read actually what he said here. A while ago, there was certainly a culture of making Americanized products because various works were popular in the U.S. However, I feel that Japanese game lovers.
I was thinking about doing that too. I haven't
They're looking for something unique.
I haven't thought of playing that.
Japan. Wow.
But I was
So,
on it the other
let me
day.
get
I'm like,
this
I might
straight.
just try it.
People that
Because I
like
started it like
Japanese
a couple
games
months
want
ago,
the games that are
and then
from
I was like, I
Japan
just don't
to
want
be
feel like
Japanese.
leveling this tune the old way.
Holy shit.
But then like over the weekend, I was messing around. I'm like, I might just do one.
This is big. This is
Right, I know, right? That's the whole thing.
Oh my god. Wow. That's crazy. Because Japan
I wanted to like see the
so the concept of God
like the
as a
old
supreme being is not as powerful. That's
the
why
old
they
tree
love
and
the
stuff
peace
like
from
that.
God. That's a really good analysis. I never thought about it from that angle. That's,
Like the old
that's
talent
smart.
tree.
I never thought of that at all.
So I totally forget what it
Yeah,
was
in
like.
other words, I think the ideal would be to make games in a way that you like, as those you agree with will enjoy them. Yeah, I think that when you start trying to make a video game,
You think it's chaotic? I don't think
this is
it.
not
I wasn't
all true.
what raid I
Like,
did the
would
other
say
day.
Pow World is an example of it not being
These
true,
are
but in a
earthen
general sense, if you make a video
I
game,
can't do it. Whatever. I went in Raid Finder and
to a certain audience,
got into a raid the other
especially
day,
if
and I
the
was like,
audience isn't very big,
I didn't think it was any
the
really
so-called modern audience,
different than anything
you know,
really.
I think
Everybody
that you're gonna
says it's
have
like
this
so
type of
hard.
problem happen. I think he's also referring to the Western.
I thought it was
censorship
kind of easy. It was like,
and
no,
I
everything's
think
just like
that
purple. Like,
those
stay
that
out of
want
purple shit.
censorship of the characters, the only people that want censorship of characters, like of cleavage or revealing outfits.
I'm not saying like
The only people
like
that want that
classics.
are, like, a
Not really
small
that hard
minority of
either.
people
It's
that
only a couple things to
oftentimes don't
watch
even
out
play
for,
these
but
games. And like you'll see, it's literally I think a 100 to 1 issue, where like 100 people are okay with this in the game.
I guess
and
maybe if
one
like a
person isn't.
I heard
So,
Mr. P. I haven't read it since like
in the game, and you're making it for
like
this
the
one
Lich King,
person, well,
but
don't be surprised.
I heard
if
Mr.
some of those
Pandera
people
had
out
like
of
some of
100
the
aren't interested in it
some of
either.
the higher rates and hard
So,
too.
yeah, Uglies
I
want
know,
censorship.
I know,
It's
right?
more of
I don't know what I'm doing
ideology,
anymore
but
either.
yeah, it's
That's what I say when I go into a raid. I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm
about
doing,
it, too.
so
Absolutely.
don't get mad at me.
Another
But that's what I don't want to like. I wanted to tank too, but I'm like, I haven't tanked in years, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. People are just gonna fucking freak out.
Done a very good job
What
at
the fuck
creating
is
an
this?
apparatus
What is that?
that provides a seeming necessity for this type of behavior. That's really it. You're talking about Karens? Well, this
Oh,
is
that
what I
thing's
said
gone.
before. I think
Fucking
the-
stole
all
my
of the
fucking thing.
problems, basically,
Son of a bitch.
all of the cultural problems in our society now are because of one of two things: incels or Karens. Every problem in society is caused
this
by
thing seriously
either
up? Yeah.
incels or Karens. That's it. Think about any issue.
Like, I think it's pretty. This
whatsoever,
expansion's pretty
it's
fucking
either
cool. It's
one
huge.
or the other. And femcells, it's the same. Radicals,
Ah, this
yeah,
fucking
but usually the radicals fall into the incel or Karen category.
Look at this shit. Bombs
That's
on
it.
mining.
Gang violence.
You serious? When you're always trying to do is do daily questing. I know, right?
I feel like a lot of them probably, I don't know, if are they incels? I'm not really sure. I feel like if a
But
lot
yeah,
of
it's like
these
to say, yeah, I
guys-
only got
you
like
know
an
what
hour
I
or so,
would
so
think
I'm just messing
is
around,
that
getting
if
some.
a lot of these guys,
getting some
like
stuff.
in these gangs, if you gave them a 10 out of 10 baddie, and they're like, she's gonna love you forever, I bet a lot of them would probably leave the gang.
What the fuck
and
is
just
this?
have a
And
family
there's
and move on.
I was trying to level up.
Yeah, I bet they probably would.
What's happening?
Yeah, probably like, all right, really? Okay, well, fuck this, I'm done. Yeah, now
I was
those
leveling.
assholes-
I forgot all about the
No, they wouldn't. Well, I'm not
leveling up the skills. You get like that one a day,
And so I think that access to
one a day
that
thing to
stuff
do, and
is-
you'll get like a new
they're poor.
recipe out of it.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like
So it was like trying to level my alchemy yesterday,
theoretical universe. And so
and I was
see
like,
here,
fuck. I did one, and then I'm like, went to do it again. I'm like, hey, why is it not doing it again? It's like, oh, it's on cooldown for 24 hours.
Right? And
I'm
these
like,
are
this is
cultural
bullshit.
problems. Like gang violence is a criminal problem. I'm talking about cultural problems primarily. But yeah, this guy is let's get back on track. This guy is completely fucking right, 100% right. I totally agree with
It
that.
just started.
You should not try
On
to
this,
make
anyways,
video
I think.
games
I
for
think it just started the
people
other day.
that aren't in your audience. People are looking to play Japanese video games because they like the Japanese people's take on video games. If you make it American video games, you get something like Forspoken or something like that, you know, again, published by Square Enix, and it's garbage. So just do what you're good at, and we can do what we're good at, which is Dragon Age the Veilguard, right? And, you know, it is what it is, right? America's a great place, but we're not good at everything, are we? Let's see here. Hungary is based. There's no need to make your gender and sexuality your entire personality. Hungary's parliament just passed a law banning pride.
Fuck am I?
I don't know really what this means. I don't like the idea that you can't be gay in public. I don't really think that's a good thing. Have it your personality, complicated thing to express as part of your personality. Yeah, I'm very torn on this. Like, so this is my perspective on like pride stuff. Is that I think pride parades are okay, but the problem is that there are a lot of cases where pride parades are people that are dressed in ways that are extremely sexually provocative, and they're doing this in a public space, and this is a space that's open to children, and I don't think that there's a place for that. I think that celebrating being gay doesn't mean that you have to do it with a mankini on, you don't have to do this with a Speedo, and you don't have to twerk to celebrate being gay. I think that the best thing about,
where am I going?
This is the way that I see it, the best thing about the way I look at it is that being gay is the exact same as being straight, except for one thing. You're gay. That's it. So I don't really see the reason that you have to have all of these like dramatic displays of sexual, you know, objectification at one of these parades. I think it's outrageous, and especially when there's people who are minors present at the parades. That being said, I think if people want to celebrate their sexuality or whatever, you know, have a rainbow flag, have a rainbow shirt or whatever, that's not a big deal to me. I think that's fine. But it's just doing it in a way that is, you know, around children or overly sexual. That's the issue. And I think, by the way, I think this is what most people think. I do. I think this is the perspective most people have. Yeah, it's weird if it's around kids, but if it's around consenting adults and you're not doing it or pushing it on anybody, it's totally fine. So I don't know what Hungary's law is, but, you know, you can decide based off of what I said whether it's true or not this is accurate. It's a slippery slope between banning pride and stoning someone to death next. I don't think it's a slippery slope for that, but I don't know what Hungary's culture is. I don't know what their... I don't know anything about the country, right? So I have no idea why.
What is this thing?
But here's another point that I want to make too, is that we often talk about this, is that we talk about people in like America or whatever.
Going down.
You know, problematic.
Down into the
I think this is a reality check for a lot of people, that this is the way that the rest of the world views a lot of these sex issues. Like a lot of these like gender and sex issues, that like in America, it's like a given that you are okay with being gay. In a lot of places in the world, it's not at all. And I think that's why on the internet, people get such a big reality check. It's because in tons of places in the world, they don't accept you being gay, period. Yeah, you get killed for being gay in some places in the world. And that's it. U.S. is really unique in that way. It really is. And I wish that more people in the U.S. would appreciate that. I think it's one of the best things about our country is the fact that we're very tolerant to other people's lives, so as long as that life is not affecting somebody else, right? I think it's probably, could I say, yeah, I would say it's probably the best thing, one of the best things about the United States, is the fact that you can go and do whatever you want to do whoever you want to do, assuming they're the age. And other than that, everything else is fine. The U.S. is very tolerant. Yeah, and I agree with that. Where's the tolerance for cartel members? Well, again, I think that personal tolerance is very different whenever you are enabling, promoting, or doing something that's detrimental to other people. I've always believed in the idea of like the freedom bubble, where like you can do whatever you want in your bubble, but the moment that you go outside of your bubble and you start going into somebody else's bubble, that's whenever you have a problem. And so that's when tolerance ends. So, and I think also you need to have a certain degree of lawful requirements in order to enforce that tolerance themselves. What the hell's wrong with these people? Well, again, it's like that heat map thing where the farther away from, you know, American or Western values it is, some of these people feel more closeness to it. In my opinion, I wish they'd just go over there. If you hate America and you hate the culture here, then get the fuck out. Like, maybe I can't support you, but I would certainly suggest for you to go somewhere that you enjoy. If you hate the country, why are you here? So that's it. It's a contradiction. You're proud on the USA enabling freedom, but then you start saying that not everyone has those freedoms in the USA. Well, it's not a contradiction at all. So basically what my viewpoint on this is that, and this is again, this...
What was that? 75.
You're not going to get banned for this. This is fine. It's a contradiction. No, this is not a rude person. There's no contradiction. I think that the way that the U.S. should treat citizens is different than the way that it should treat anybody else in the country. I think that the system of supporting random people, I don't really care a lot about that, but I do care about how it treats the citizens. So, you know, and that is two tiers for me. If you're not a citizen, then I don't think that we do not need to be a place that people who are not even citizens can come to and start trouble in. I don't think that there is any virtue in that at all. Yeah, and yeah, it's two tiers, Gold. Well, yeah, it is two tiers. There's people that are citizens of the country and the people that are not. And that's it. False equivalency, ban that guy. You do know by U.S. law, it's like this. There's two tiers of system. I believe there are rights you have and some you don't. But do you truly know that by U.S. law it's like this? Well, yeah, of course I do. Like, for example, a lot of people that aren't citizens can't vote. Some of them can't have, you know, like basically have the Second Amendment, have a gun. There's tons of restrictions that you have if you're not a citizen, and they're well documented, and there's tons of them. Like, you can just look it up yourself, and you'd find out that this is the reality. So, yeah, of course. And again, this is just simply not true. So, yeah, there you go. So you mean like how every other country operates? Yes, exactly. A lot of selective hearing in these chatters. Well, the reason why people like this have selective hearing, it's because as soon as they hear something that they disagree with, they stop listening to the rest of the sentence, and their like media programming takes over, and they just automatically have something to say. So like there's a lot of examples of this. January 6th is an example of it, where people have been like Pavlovianly conditioned to you know, like immediately fucking salivate the moment that they hear January 6th, rigged election, I don't know, like transsexual, you know, like any of these things, they hear this word and they immediately go into their media programming. And so once you understand that, it makes it easier to understand why people come to these different conclusions, right? So yeah, it's that simple. They want to be right with what they know, but not have to learn something when given new information. Like when you turn off your brain while a girl tells you her feelings. Yeah, basically, right? And Asman, how do you feel about someone moving to another country to become trans?
Not a good idea.
I think if a person wants to legally immigrate to America because they feel like their sexuality is being repressed in their home country, then I would welcome that. Because that's one of the good things that we have in America is we have acceptance and tolerance of people that want to live the way that they want to live. So yeah, now you have to go through a legal process, and you have to do all these things. But if they pass that process and they're into it, then everything's fine. It's a 90-10 issue. Yeah, this is another 90-10 issue. Everybody agrees with this basically. Legally, yeah, of course. Thailand? Well, I don't know about Thailand. Yeah, keep out the mental illness. I'll take. I don't really think so. I mean, I think that, and it's again, you could say being trans is mental illness, but there's some people that think that being gay is a mental illness. And so at the end of the day, as long as a person does not pose a direct threat to themselves or other people, then it shouldn't really be viewed that way. It is. Oh, being gay is a mental illness too? Yeah, I don't think so. And I think even if it is a mental illness, it's not that big of a deal to me, right? I think that, you know, again, in a way, I almost agree, because I don't know why any girls are attracted to guys. I do. I don't know how all girls aren't lesbians. Because, like, I look Like, girl, how could you be attracted to a guy? I don't even understand it. Like, how? Wait, how do you even think like that? Like, what's going on, right? It's called biology? Yeah,
fuck
but
is this
like,
thing?
I just can't even imagine it. Yeah, it's gross, bro. Like, imagine liking dicks.
I need to get closer.
Like, I can't even imagine this, right? But girls like dicks. Like, well, how does this happen? And it's like, I'm thinking about this and how lucky it is for me that this is true. But man, I remember when I was a kid, I was like, well, there's no way they actually... Wait, really? Why? Yeah, I was like in 6th grade or 7th grade. Yeah, I didn't understand it at all. And yeah, so all hetero women are mentally ill? I mean, I didn't say that, right? I was joking around. But, you know, when I was in 6th and 7th grade, the thought crossed my mind a couple of times. So yeah, and no, only 99%. Anyway, what is this here? A trans activist shame a Korean spa in San Francisco? Okay, well, let's go ahead and listen to this. Okay.
So if you have the female part, you go
So if you have female parts, you go to the female side?
to the female side. If you have the male part, you go to the male side.
I'm not sure what you're meaning
So
by.
as in like physical parts, as in like your genitals.
Yes.
If you have the woman genital still, you go to
Where
the
am I?
female side. And if you have the male genital, a penis, you go to the male side.
Well, what about women who have penises and men who have vaginas?
So that's right.
Segregate them.
We still go based on genital parts.
So you would put a man in the women's room?
So they have the parts, yes.
That's not a man, though, necessarily.
We just go based off genitals. So you're assigned with the male has the
They're trying to be so reasonable. They're trying to be so understanding. Oh my God. They're so reasonable. There's such dishonesty. As I said, the only way that these people can exist in any space is if they constantly redefine, reinterpret, misrepresent, and lie about everything that's around them in order to create a fabricated reality that is delicately keeping together all of their fantasies and all of their delusions.
If you put a man in the women's room, you're going to have huge problems. You can't do that.
We have transgender male. They feel totally. If they
What? Was that
They fuck out any
since
some
then?
vagina, they go on the female side. They feel totally comfortable. So we go based on what they have.
Huh.
Genitals.
No, but you have, I mean, if somebody's a
Well,
man,
if they're not comfortable doing that, why wouldn't they just leave?
and they need to go in the men's room. Just full
If
stop.
they don't have genital parts, we cannot let them go in.
You can't say that somebody's not a man based on what their parts are. If they're licensed,
These people are doing such irreparable damage to the entire LGBTQ community that we're gonna have gay marriage up on the chopping block in a matter of years. They're actually own goaling so fucking hard. This is insane. Need to get a dick like this is scary? It is. And I
Kind of
think
headphones?
like,
These
there's
are
no, like secret like trans
hold on a
shows,
second. What's the
and like they're doing this in order to make them
the
look
Articus?
bad. I mean,
Forget what
is it
model.
another
Articus.
false flag? Like really, because it's so outrageous and just
Articus Game
ridiculous.
Buds. I thought there was a certain model, but
Yes, instead of putting men and women outdoors should be dicks and vaginas instead. Yeah, and she said that's how they're segregated. It has nothing to do with the gender. Yeah, that's not even it.
the mic sounds all right, right?
Trans cannot even exist. There is no argumentation. They just think they're being disrespected because other people enable this kind of behavior. Meanwhile, they're being entitled and rude to someone who's just trying to help them. Yeah, I know. And it's really, really sad to see this happen because I think this has caused such a tremendous backslide in public support of LGBT. And by the way, this is documented and well established and recognized. So it's not like I'm not fan fictioning this. This is very problematic.
I'm out of
We cannot
range.
let them go in.
you can't say that somebody's not a man based on what their parts are. If they're licensed and they say they're a man, you can't say that they're not allowed to go in a
That's
particular
how.
room.
That's how pilots.
Well,
Did you hear me?
You can say they're not allowed to go in a particular room. It's their building. It's private property. You can say whatever you want.
So
Is that
where's
where's that policy?
everybody-
I've never actually seen
Yeah,
that.
let's see
Yeah,
that.
so
So you have genitalia written into your policy? Can
no,
I see
but
that,
it
please?
has to go. That's how we go based off.
That would need to be like in a policy for people to be aware of that. 'Cause
So that's
I
how-
don't see that on your website. Is that written somewhere that genitalia is
it's
part
not
of your policy?
written, but it's still we still go based off.
Yeah, it's not written because it's common fucking sense. See, these people, and
Did you
this
get
is
that,
the
Adam?
problem that I think a lot of them have is that this is a matter of sex and not gender. If you make the argumentation that gender is a social construct and it can be changed willingly at any time, I think that very few people think that you can actually change your sex. You can't do it on a chromosomal level, you just can't do it. So the conversation is entirely around gender and how you present yourself to the public. If this is something that is dealing with sexual organs, then gender is secondary to that and it's not part of the conversation. So I don't understand how you can have a conversation around how gender is a social construct and sex is legitimate, but then in cases like, medical treatment or other things that are dealing with a person's sex rather than their gender, somehow this is a problem. These are crazy people? Yes, and this is the big issue of what is that you're never going to be able to reason with these people. It's just harassment? It is. It's harassment. It's massive harassment. It's bordering on sexual harassment? Yeah, I think so too. And in my opinion, gender is not a social construct. It's rooted in biology. I'm not... This is such a funny comment, and it's so true. Where's it written in the policy that you don't get slapped in the face with a 500-pound tuna? Because it's so fucking obvious. It's the most obvious thing you can imagine. True, yes, it doesn't need to be written into the policy because it's common fucking sense.
The gender and their genitals, genital parts.
That's literally not how anybody defines men and women, especially in San Francisco.
Yes,
If a
but
man
that's
looks
not-
like a man, or if they define themselves as a man,
Fucking idiot.
then they go in
Legally
the
a man.
and that they are legally man.
You should have a man on your driver's license.
So yeah, but we still go based on the parts. So if you have a female part, you go to the female side. If you have a male part, you go to the male side.
You want to know
Come
why
on, bro.
this video ended? It's because you can't just keep repeating the same retard logic over and over. And it's crazy how these activists come in and they just get totally fucking annihilated by some random receptionist that works at a Korean spa. There's a longer version? I don't know if there is or not. Let me see if there's a longer version of it or not. If there is, I might look at the rest of it. Yeah, they're so exhausting. Yeah, it pushes business owner people to outright exclude trans people from everything. I don't think it's going to happen with trans people particularly, but like in a general sense, I do think that people are getting very exhausted about this. Yeah, where does it say that in your policy? I'm telling you the policy. Yeah, I guess so. And same tiring stuff. They're showing out the signs. And yeah, it's that simple. I supported this ideology, but after this, I don't know. Yeah, these morons are here to intentionally find something they have a fit over. And here's another component of this that I think is also very problematic, is that especially whenever you're targeting immigrant businesses, where you have people that don't really understand English very well. So not only are you're basically smurfing, you're coming into this Korean this Korean spa. Like I've been to like a massage place, and I've been to a spa once. I've been to a spa once. Some of those people are not entirely fluent in English. They're not. And you're smurfing. You're coming in there, you're trying to catch them in like some sort of like verbal trick and then make them look bad. That's it. And did you finish? Well, no, that's weird. No, I don't. That's weird. And so, no, of course not. And don't fuck with Korean businesses. Oh God, yeah, I guess so. If gender's not determined by genitals, then how is gender-affirming surgery do that? I think that it's basically about gender-affirming surgery. There's a lot of spectrums for it. And also, even if you have those genitals, I think that's going to be a different conversation. Obviously it is. So yeah, extra service? Yeah, it doesn't, obviously. And anyway, rooftop brands go hard. It's their establishment. You do what Romans do in Rome. Yeah, all I'm saying is that the people that start this kind of stuff and cause these kinds of problems, these are going to be people that are going to radicalize the public against trans issues and against LGBT issues at large because of how dishonest, aggressive, and ridiculous this sounds. And they've already done this already. Like, people are so tired of this. Yes, everybody is exhausted by this kind of weird, fucking creepy, stupid behavior that's dishonest and nasty and rude and everything. Yeah, I'm so done. Yeah, it's just like the bullying, because this is the premise that these people operate in. The premise that they operate in is that they catch somebody who is not behaving according to their ideology, and then they create an apparatus to punish that person. So they have Facebook groups, they go on Twitter, and they systematically try to attack and harass these people and harass other people that are around them in order to make them look bad.
What do we got? Two.
How we doing, guys? We okay? We back? Yeah, I have no idea why this happens. I have no clue whatsoever. And yeah, it happens every day. I don't know why. It's been happening like this for years. So who knows? Anyway, do you see about McDonald's carding people in New York City? Only 20 plus? No, I haven't seen that at all. There's a follow-up video where the person is celebrating getting the spa that changed the rules. I have no idea. But anyway, the reason and what these people do is they collectively get together and bully and attack people who don't follow this line of reasoning. And then if they bully and attack people enough, they attack them and force them into changing their policy. And they will do this through threats of violence. They will do this through just filing fake reviews. They'll do this with any means necessary, right? They're trying to shut people down. Yes, exactly. And so the big thing that needs to happen in order for this to stop is average, well-intentioned, good-natured people need to come together and push back against what this really is, which is bullying. This is aggressive, malicious bullying of these people just to push an agenda. And if you have enough people that push back against that, then maybe you're going to see these people change. And that's it. They're the Western version of religious police. Do you want to know what's really funny? Is you're totally right. Yes, these are the same people. If it was in the Middle Ages or like some other point in time, they'd be going around with like deciding who's a witch, or an Inquisition, or any other form of religious extremism. These people are just simply oppressive, authoritarian zealots that are looking for a cause that they can bully people over. And unfortunately, they've latched onto a social cause, and the collateral damage is a lot of just average gay people and trans people who are being mischaracterized as part of this group of malicious freaks. That's the reason. Yeah, same asshole, different period. Yep, it's the same people, man. It's the exact same people. Let's see here. And standing up to this happening from the top down, which is why we have Trump? Yeah, I think so. You know, they're bullying and being unreasonable, but they have nothing else going on in their life. Well, the problem is that they don't get repudiated for doing it. And if you really hold people like this accountable for their behavior, you're going to see a lot of it stop. All Joe Rogan and his gay frog's fault. Corporate media, decades of blatant lies that destroyed all their credibility. This is all Joe Rogan's fault. I think this is very true, by the way. The media, the reason why people don't trust the media is because of the media. When the media posts like photoshopped or filtered faces of different people, like whitening or darkening people's skin artificially, or representing a story in a way that's inaccurate, any of this kind of stuff, it does radicalize a lot of people. And as soon as people see that inaccuracy, and the problem is that the media stations call each other out, So even if you, like, basically, even if you watch mainstream media and you trust it, you begin to not trust it because that station is calling out the other station as well. And so that's really what happens. Homie, regurgitate news from the media. Can you go ahead and be a little bit more specific about this? Yeah. What do you mean by that? You regurgitate news from the media. What does that mean to you? Uh-oh.
Lead cloth, huh?
Uh-oh. I feel like it's pretty simple to explain, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have one of these people. It's just, yeah, it's just stupid. Yeah, it scared him? Yeah, there's no thinking involved in it at all. Almost all of the "but you do the same thing" arguments are, I would say 9 times out of 10, probably not, like 99 times out of 100, they are dishonest, stupid, and fundamentally untrue. They're like, well, we're going to draw this correlation between things that don't really make sense in order to make you look bad. You know, that's it. Dude's being wacky out here? Yeah. Inquisition a church thing. If you were not a Christian, you were okay. Oh, about the Inquisition? Yeah, maybe my facts are wrong on that. Like, I'm not trying to, like, get into a big historical conversation. All I'm saying is the people that do this kind of stuff are the new version of religious zealots. If the Inquisition's a bad example, then that's fine. It's not really a point that I want to argue about or get into. So, yeah. He's definitely saying something about Fox News, but obviously omits the part where you cover CNN and other article outlets. Well, that's because, again, that type of thinking can only exist when it's not being questioned. It's something that stupid people with a very surface level of understanding and thinking have, but then whenever you actually think about what the topic is, you immediately realize it's stupid. And so this person knows that he's going to be exposed as being stupid, so he just didn't want to say anything. That's the reason why. Let's see here. One sentence, your idiots get weaponized against the U.S.? Yeah, basically, right? And let's see here. And this couldn't be more real. Oregon is a clown state. Oregon Mental Health Advisory Board includes member who identifies as a terrapin species.
What was that? I thought I just saw something. There it is.
If you identify as a animal, you have a mental disorder. It's not compassionate or beneficial to anybody to pretend like that's not what it is. You're not helping them. You're not doing them any favors. You're not being nice to them by saying this. This is an insane thing to say. Is this the same speed? Okay. Okay, that's a good one. And, yeah, this is not normal. Well, I don't think it's normal either. Makes perfect sense. Should we do A or B? Let's ask our resident terrapin advisor. The itch on my shell tells me A is the right answer. Person 1 and 2, B it is.
Actually, where am I?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, just whatever they think is a good idea, do the opposite of that. Yeah, that's smart. Oh, my God. And the whole point is that the integration of society is going to be better for them, putting them in an asylum? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with people like this being in society. I just don't think they should be running it, you know? And including a mentally ill within the advisory board seems like a bad idea. Hey, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, right? And so it makes sense. As someone currently in Oregon, the further west you go, the crazier it is. The further east you go, the more normal it is. I just... I also want to say that this might get me in a bunch of trouble. is that I think a lot of these like really actually, you know what? This is a really hot take. I'm gonna be right back, and then I'm gonna say it. Yeah, this is gonna get people real mad. Yeah, I just found it. All right, give me 1 second.
Let's see, where the fuck's the flight path? Oh, on the other side. The other side. Do, 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 do.
I see you see my wares.
That's the speaker, what's that?
Elix Cottage.
Huh.
Come, relish my
Let's get up there.
valuable.
Let's get up in there. Oops.
All right. So basically, I think the reason why you have so many of these people that are part of these like really weird woke things, like thinking that you're identifying as a turtle, etc. I think the reason why so many of them are white
Identifying
is
as a
because
turtle.
it's a coping mechanism because of all the white guilt that they're probably given throughout media and throughout education. And so these people are looking for a way to be oppressed, and so they identify and categorize themselves into these weird groups so they can be seen as somebody who's not bad. How about that? Is that worth it? You happy? Think I agree? Milquetoast taste boat? Is it really? Yeah, W takes, self-hating white people? Yeah, think about it. And I'm just saying, guys, all I'm saying, look at the trends. Look at the trends. You're wrong, Asmund. They're dumb and ill. Yes, but why does the illness manifest in this way every time? It manifests in this way every time so they can get away from the guilt and the privilege that they've been indoctrinated to think that they have. That's it. Pattern recognition is bad. And they're also going about their ways to make themselves bad? Well, I don't know. It could also be the culture pushing it. Yes, but I think these people are the most susceptible to it because they're the ones that don't already have a protected identity in one way or another. I think that's what happens. And again, just look at these meetings. Look at all, like, I mean, there's very clearly a fucking trend here, right? Why is the trend happening? That's one of the reasons why I think it's happening. Might not like it, but I think it's true. So, yep. Isn't she trolling for overreaction bait? Unfortunately, no. There's a lot of people that think this way. Work smarter. Been out all day putting Trump stickers on rioters' cars and sitting back watching them just... So stupid. This is so dumb. Yeah, okay. Obviously, you shouldn't do that, but it is funny. This is insane. Illegal migrants released at the border and border patrol after apprehension. Oh, we let one get away! Shit! God damn it! Yeah, there we go. And, damn, so sad. Yeah, hey, there's always room to improve, right, guys? Do lunatics are literally running the asylum? Yeah, I think so. And, yeah, boomer posting is in. Yeah, this is just, it's just funny. It's obviously you shouldn't do this. It's just funny. Let's see here. If they knew the meaning of fascist or Nazi, would they realize that they are one? Fascist then, fascist today. I mean, again, these people love to weaponize government and use it to attack people. I think it's true in a lot of cases. Not all of them, but in a lot of cases it is. TikTok made a fat filter, and it's something I didn't know I needed to see. Okay, what's this?
So
there is a new trend on TikTok, and it is where
Is this cultural appropriation? I think it is, right?
Oh my goodness.
people are sharing photos of themselves with a chubby filter. This is where we're at in 2025. I am so sick of having this conversation again and again. Why is it do you people fear fatness so damn much?
Because it's unhealthy.
Target something first.
Pretty simple, really. Yeah.
I don't have a target.
Okay. All right. Simple. Let's move on.
Okay? Why is my body, my weight, my size up for conversation all the time? Why is it
Everybody's body and everybody's conversation, it's all up for conversation. People are going to have an opinion about how you look no matter what. If you put a bunch of face tattoos on your face, people are going to have opinions about it. If you're anorexic like Eugenia Cooney, that like one fucking YouTube girl, people are going to have opinions about it. People even have opinions about like my weight, and I'm a really skinny guy. That's the way it is for everybody. Everybody's going to have an opinion about everybody because people are allowed to think and they're allowed to have opinions. And also, it's not about your weight. So if somebody else uses this filter to make them fat, believe it or not, it's actually not about you. It's about them. That's what's crazy about this. It doesn't even have to do with you.
your greatest nightmare to look like me?
Because it's disgusting and unhealthy, and it's gonna kill you. Obviously. That's the reason.
Shouldn't we?
Scientifically. This isn't an opinion. Yeah, it's just a fact.
Why is fatness deemed to be the worst thing anyone could ever possibly be? I'm getting so
I gotta find that one fucking thing.
blatant anti-fatness in today's society. It is
I'm out of range.
Wow. So what happens
Okay,
if
where
like
is this thing?
she would use the filter, or like another, like a person that's fat would use the filter? Does it make them fatter? Like, how does that work? And like, does it like so? And like, let's say she's like 280 pounds. Does it take you? Does it like double your weight? And so would she be like over 500, or would it just add like 150 pounds? Right? Like, how does it work? Right? Because I don't know. Yeah, because does it 2x anybody, or does it just get them to a algorithmic size? This is a question. Like, I don't know. I mean, this is the first thing I think about. Like, how does this filter work? Yeah, yeah, you got to use it on fat people and see what happens. But yeah, this is. I always find it to be really funny. The fat identity stuff. It's ridiculous. I fear fatness. I don't want to have a heart attack. Well, it's what I've always said. You want to know why there's no really old fat people? It's because they're fucking dead. Because getting fat and being overweight like that when you're old kills you. The only famous fat person that's old is Santa Claus, and he's not real. So I think that's going to tell you all you need to know. And if that's bothering you and you're mad about it, well, maybe when 5 more fat influencers die, you might rethink your life. But some of these people are probably going to be one of them. And it's really sad to see people slowly killing themselves and acting like victims while it's happening. The only thing that they're victims of is their own gluttony. That's it.
Ooh.
They're victims of themselves. Nobody else's fault. It's not society's fault that you're fat. That's it. It's sad, man. It really is. It's sinful? Yes, it's sinful. Yeah, maybe we should bring back sin. You know, like punishing people for sin. It's a good idea. Yeah, their delusions will weigh on them heavily. I bet they will. And what is this bitch on about? Why do people fear fatness so much? Because because it kills you. That's why. And it's unpleasant to look at, and most people don't like it. That's the reason why. It's so obvious. So yeah, I mean, again, a lot of people might not want to say it because it's like, oh, you shouldn't say that. It's mean to say. No, not necessarily. It's very simple. And it stinks? Yeah, they do. At least some of them do. What do y'all humans do this? Literally moan about problems of their own, making in the worst way possible. It's important to treat fatness like a mental disorder. These people need help. I know I was fat before. Is being fat a mental disorder? Now we're cooking. I think so. Based like I'm not a doctor. I think so. It can be? Yeah, it can be. It's a symptom. Yeah, yeah, that's probably one of the, it's probably a nurse or a doctor in there. Yeah, I think so. And, yeah, indicator of poor decision making? Yeah, it's poor decision making for sure. In some cases, sure, but every time, don't know. Well, yeah, of course, there's some people that are fat because of genetic reasons, which, of course, according to fat people, is all of them. Let's see here. Trans women and women, what is this X and Y? Oh, this is, it's, I don't know, like, I've discussed the way that I feel about this many times. You're actually obsessed. What is this here? So, this is yesterday. I did see this. Hassan, obviously, you know, I did a stream. Guess who's chirping about it? It's all Hassan. Now, usually I don't respond to every single negative thing that people say about me. And even when Hassan says something, but this one is particularly kind of egregious. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to listen to it. Let me see if I can find, where's the clip on this? God damn it. Give me a second. I can see if I can find it. Okay. Where did it go? There. It was on this channel. I just don't know where it was exactly. Where did it go? The thing about me, about Destiny. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right. So, let's listen.
I saw this Dexerto article, and I'm actually very excited for Asmongold to finally fucking chime in about how censorship is unacceptable. Texas senators have unanimously passed a bill that, if signed into law, could make several games, anime, manga series illegal to own in the state. The bill bans any obscene depiction of a minor or someone who looks like one. And it's a very unique predicament because, like, I don't necessarily disagree with this decision, although I do understand how this will be used against everything. I want to know where my Asmon heads are at on this one. It's awesome because Asmon literally lives in Texas, and he has to now delete half of his fucking library if this is the case.
Hassan is going on his stream and implying that half of my library is anime that is depicting obscene minors in obscene depictions. I hope that even the people that disagree with me can see how outrageously unhinged and fucked up this is. How do you possibly say something about somebody like this? This is outrageous. What?
Where is it?
It is what it is, dude. So what happens? What is his take? I'm sure he had to cover this.
My opinion on it is that I hate the lolly stuff too. I've never really liked it either. But I think that the law, like, I don't know if I really agree with it or not. I haven't read it. So it's like I agree with it in principle, but I think in practice it would be weaponized to do bad things. And I think it would be too overreaching. That's basically what my agreement is, my viewpoint on this, right? I don't really like it necessarily. I don't think it's a good thing, but at the same time, do I want my tax dollars going towards arbitrating and putting people in jail for this? And at the same time, how are they going to draw these distinctions, and what way is it going to make sense? So the fact is, what I find to be very ironic about this is that
Senators have unanimously passed the bill that if signed into law could make it for Asmongold to finally fucking chime in about how censorship is unacceptable. Texas senators have unanimously passed the bill that if signed into law could make several games, anime, manga series illegal to own in the state. The bill bans any obscene depiction of a minor or someone who looks like one. And it's a very unique predicament because, like, I don't necessarily disagree with this decision, although I do understand how this will be used against everything.
Exactly.
Huh?
Exactly. So you both agree? Yeah, he has the exact same opinion on it that I do. Where I think it's weird and bad too, but I think that the law would be used in a bad way. 100%.
Fuck is this thing?
I want to know where my Asmon heads are at on this one. It's awesome because Asmon literally lives in Texas, and he has to now delete half of his fucking library if this is the case.
Totally ridiculous to say that.
Hmm.
Crazy to say that. Wow. It's like, I don't even know what to say. He just called you a lolly enjoyer? What the fuck? He did. And not only that, but he said that I like the obscene depictions of them as well. That's really fucking weird. Why would you say that?
It is what it is, dude. So what happens? What is his take? I'm sure he had to cover this.
Of course, I did.
The unique intersection. It happened literally after I said, hey, Asmon, there will come a time when this administration will take away something that you like, that you hold near and dear to you.
Fucking idiot.
I'm still waiting on that to happen. And this is the way that, and I've noticed this with a lot of people that have this line of thinking, and Hassan loves to misinterpret and just totally misrepresent things, and half of my library is this. What are you talking about? It is such an outrageous exaggeration that it's not even in the same realm of reality. It's crazy to say something like this.
And I'll see how you feel about free speech then. And then literally a week later, they're like, a week later.
He's fighting with a ghost. It's not even an opinion that I have. I never even said this.
It's like Texas senators have unanimously passed the bill.
Yeah, he is.
Barely watches anime. I know he looks the type. No, dude, it's not about fucking anime. What are you talking about? It's video games as well. Asmongold's favorite content creator is literally a lolly content creator.
What?
Rev, is this Rev says Desu?
I need to target something first.
This is the obscene depiction of an underage character that he's talking about? This is it? I don't know. Maybe in some countries this is obscene. I don't know if it
Our
is.
airship engineers are running dangerously low on supplies.
This is a normal character
Recover
with a
what
black
tools
t-shirt.
you can.
This is outrageous. How do you say something like this?
A child, like a child VTuber. His next video.
I'm in danger.
Oh, I think I'm gonna I gotta post that.
He did tweet this out, by the way, and I'll get into it. And this is, by the way, this is what I said before, and this is what I said yesterday about this topic. So this is the issue, right? I'll play it all the way through. Ideologically, I support this. Like, I don't like lollies. I don't like the underage sexual depictions of underage characters, right? I don't like this. But the thing is that the reason why the real thing is like actual child sexual abuse material, the reason why it's illegal is because there's a victim of it, right? There's a victim of it, and that victim is then like, there becomes an ecosystem that encourages more victimization if that content is consumed and distributed, right? So the idea is that owning it and, you know, like creating it or putting it out there is bad because it creates an ecosystem that causes real people to get hurt, right? And so based off of that logic, you can't apply that logic to anime because anime isn't real people. So I'm very, very torn on this. And I like, in a way, I wish that there was a way that you could do this, but I don't know if there is a way that you can do this without it being stupid.
Fungarians
Does that make
grow unchecked.
So the
Destroy
exact
the
same
colony's
opinion that he
leader,
had.
and collect the spores to prevent a new fungal army.
So I had the exact same opinion. I said the same thing. Anyway, so this is
I saw this
give me a second,
Dexerto
let me pause
article.
it. So Hassan did tweet this out, which in my opinion is kind of let me see if I can pull it up.
I need a target.
Scroll all the way down. And there we go. Uh-oh. So there's the image of the article, and there's the picture of me being in danger. Very clearly implying that I like lollies and I like obscene depictions of underage characters in anime. I hope that even the people that disagree with me and the people that don't like what I'm saying can see that this is a very disgraceful turn of events. This is something that has now escalated to an implication of one of the worst things that you can possibly do. It's disgusting. It's completely disgusting, and I'm actually surprised that he did this. I would have never expected Hassan to do this. It's very weird. Is it slander? I don't know. I have no idea. It's beyond fucked up. Yeah, this is extremely fucking weird. And I also want to say that in all of the cases that Hassan has been slandered and misrepresented in ways that are unfair, I have always defended him. And I have never, and you know, there was like some brothel he was at and it got accused of like sex trafficking and underage people. I never brought that up because I know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. But not only does he bring stuff up that's bullshit, he makes it up himself. You're making it up. You're making this yourself. It's not, it happened. Yeah. You never been unfair? No, I try to be fair. You're being extremely foolish. You thought scumbag wouldn't do this. He's scum. It's scum. It's not about what he does. So this is my mindset. If I do something that is a reaction to somebody else that is bad, then I am also being bad. So I try not to do that. And I try to be fair, because at the end of the day, and I do it out of respect to you guys. And the reason why is because if I'm being fair and I'm being honest, then I am leading you guys down a path of truth and accuracy to the best of my ability. But if I use you guys to willingly and intentionally misrepresent things and imply things that aren't true, I am insulting your intelligence and I am weaponizing you for a false cause. And I don't want to do that. Read what Free Jam said. Let me see. Can you just type it again? Yeah, I don't know what he said exactly. I disagree with almost your roaster and takes. I like you. I like Hassan. I think you treat him well,
Yeah,
but I
man.
believe what he's saying. He doesn't like you standing with Trump. Some things takes it as hypocritical, but it shouldn't devolve into personal attacks. I have no problem with even a personal attack. I think this is very much a step farther than that. This is Asmongold derangement syndrome. It is. Reminder that he did Trash Taste podcast with Joey, who's known to consume such content. But I didn't see him saying anything about that. I thought about, whenever I heard this, I thought about trying to bring Trash Taste into this and trying to make them look bad. Because I'm sure, like, I mean, if anybody's ever done a waifu tier list with an anime characters, I'm sure that they probably, you know, accidentally put somebody on there that's canonically underage. But I would have never said that about him, because I know that that's not an implication on him. And again, that's the difference between me and Hassan, is that Hassan has no problem lying, misrepresenting, and weaponizing his audience in a I'm trying to think of the word for it, a dishonest way in order to make his point. That's what he's doing, and he is insulting his audience's intelligence. He is he's lying, right? And I think he's also being a hypocrite, and he's just making up bullshit. So I want to let you guys know that the way that I treat Hassan will not change. Because I respect you, I respect your intelligence, and I try to do my best to provide a fair take on everything. And that includes a fair take on the most unfair people.
Ooh.
I just wish he could do the same. It's disappointing to see. It really is. I think this is the first real crash out that we've seen. And I hope it's the last. This is way over the line. And I hope that people that even disagree with me can see that and understand that this crosses a threshold. It's disgusting. I'll read a few comments. I want to move on. Thanks, bro. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget to find the law. And he's going to say that you're high-roading him. I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah, that's because I am.
Where the fuck is this then?
What do you few more of these? Does it make money on trading websites? Keep copying for genocide? I'm not a fan of the genocide either. Why would I be a fan of genocide? That's crazy. And W-Take, yeah. And let's see here. Also, it is what it is. Impersonation was bad. Yeah, it wasn't that good either, was it? And does this violate the TOS? Isn't it slander? I think that Hassan will come to his senses and realize that this is over the line. And he'll realize that this is a ridiculous thing to do. Now, he might not do it today or tomorrow, but looking back on it probably in a couple of weeks or months, he will realize that this is a bit much. He might not even admit it, but he'll realize it.
Can I even get in there?
Hassan's pointing newest trick in the leftist book. This one let me come back about him. Yeah, it's bad, man. For Hassan, the TOS doesn't exist. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to report him. I think that he'll realize that this is a bad thing to say. This is outrageous to say. Surely he'll recognize to take accountability. Yeah. And,
he won't.
I agree that it was meant to suggest.
He will not.
That if it was meant to suggest something disgusting, it is disgusting. But I also believe that it can be understood that the law will be misused, and the misuse will hit about 50% of your library. Why would it hit 50%? What do you mean by 50% of my library? What are you talking about? 50%? How could you? Where do you come to that conclusion? It's not even, like, number one, I don't even own any anime. I think that's actually not true. I have like 2 or 3 DVDs of Ghost in the Shell from like the 2000s, and one of Full Metal Alchemist, and that's it. So not only that, do I not own any of it. I'm watching it through a streaming service, so it's not even my library. And number 3, I don't even consume content that's like this. Even things like Konosuba and 7 Deadly Sins made me a bit uncomfortable. I don't like that kind of stuff. I think it's weird. It's just hentai? Yeah, and also, like, I don't think the shows are
Fuck
bad,
exists.
but it's just that that's part of the shows I don't like. I think it's wishful thinking on your part. Hassan's never held himself accountable. Well, I think that it's most important.
I suspect
I can't control how other people behave, but I can control how I behave.
us of the situation. We're ready to
That's what matters the most. I think you can take that on an attack on yourself personally or an attack on dumb lawmakers who abuse this law to outlaw more than we anticipate. Yeah,
Oh, I
no,
don't want
I
this.
understand that. I get that. I understand that, but it's not 50% of my library. Like, what are you talking about? This is not what it's implying. Like, if you tweet something out like this, you mean one thing.
You may take your leave.
It's very clear what you're trying
If you
to
hear
imply.
anything I note, let me know.
Immediately, instantaneous what you're trying to apply. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and I think that, again, I think that even the people that don't like me and disagree with me will be able to put that aside and realize how weird something like this is. I think that even they will. It's very sad. It's not even the implication. He called you a Lolly fan? He did. Yeah. Let me read this comment and then we'll move on, okay? How do you not understand? So what do you think the context of his words are? Because you're arguing what he's saying. What is he trying to say?
Someone didn't get the message. These are earthen resources.
It's a retail WoW player. Asmongold stream mental illness spotted. Yeah, true.
I need to target something first.
We don't have any explanation. You've been spamming for multiple minutes about me being wrong. And you don't have any explanation for why. Why would you do this? Why would you sit there in chat and just spam the same shit over and over and over? And then not, like, if you get called out, like, what are you talking about? It immediately falls apart. It's sad, man. It really is. But I guess, you know, what do you expect from a retail WoW player, right? This is the way these people think. They think this is anything other than implying that I'm a Lolly fan. It's weird. And Dick Eaters, yeah, out of context, really, it's same old excuses. Yeah, I mean, he provided the context himself by taking the tweet. I mean, if he didn't tweet this out, I would have probably given a little bit more credibility to it. But if you're tweeting this out, he's creating the context himself because he's the one that's making it. So that's it. And as a start, stop reacting to his nonsense. Well, I understand that. I understand it's an issue, but and then people don't want me to react to it. And in general, I don't, because it's usually personal attacks or like weird, like misinterpretations, etc. But this is a pretty weird thing, and you know, I figured I'd bring it up and talk about it, right? And so, yeah, you're a bigger person than me. I'd be on the attack. I don't need to. The thing is that. So what you might not understand is that when people like this do things that are ridiculous and bad and problematic, the process, like, they are the ones that make themselves look bad. Why would I need to go down to that level when I respect the intelligence of average people and I know that people will think that? I do. I know people are going to think that for sure. He's also being intentionally sliming, insinuating you're a PDF but not stating it outright to avoid getting sued. It's very, very weird to say something like that. It's incredibly weird. Address the bullshit, let's move on. Yeah, exactly. And it's not the point. Self-respect. Respect yourself. Do you want to know the real truth? I could care less. Somebody like that says. Why would I care?
Little things come
Really?
down rivers and skyholes. Too
I couldn't care less.
much.
Yeah, why would I care about that?
Point out
The
any
only
good
reason I'm
script.
talking about it is because it's in public and it's in front of an audience. On a personal level, I wouldn't even pay this any credibility at all. It's not worth thinking about or getting mad about or anything. You care about pinch damage? Yeah, well, yeah, of course, because it makes me look bad. Yeah, of course. But that's it. Anyway, let's go back. We're going to look at the rest of it. He didn't really imply you like the underage obscene stuff? Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. And he 100% did. It's not even close. Anyway, I feel like I've pretty much talked about this enough, and very, very, very weird thing to do. And so, yeah, anyway, let's move on. Again, we've got a lot of other stuff to get into today. Do I want to spend all my time dealing with this weird bullshit? Absolutely not. Let's see here. Oh no, the GPU is getting hotter than it should. Laptop owners, what's this? How many of you guys have had a laptop that gets so hot that you can't keep it on your lap because it burns your legs?
What?
Because I don't think I've ever had a laptop that didn't do that. Yeah, me? Yeah, it's crazy. Perfect replication. What is this?
Mining journal.
Oh God. Jesus Christ. Wow. Yeah, I guess so. I actually did watch this part of Attack on Titan. And Boink, what is this here? Athlete accused of striking down a phone. Oh, I've seen this.
Somebody would have put time in head.
Oh, Mitch!
But I wouldn't do nothing like that ever.
This actually happened? It did. The bong? Yep.
I would never do that to nobody. You have to believe me. Why would I do that to somebody? If you look at the footage, you will see that I'm innocent.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not that type of. I'm not a monster.
I love how people are calling up this bullshit, man. They're totally calling this out. I am so glad to see this. It was so stupid. I can't believe people even did that. Yeah, peak comedy? Yeah, I think it's funny. Can't believe she held a rally to try to gaslight the entire world into believing the fault was her own mental health, as if it's not a fault. Yeah, it's her mental health that she hit somebody else in the back of the head with a metal baton. Oh, yeah, for sure, definitely. Oh, is there another one? The surf's going as we will. A transphobe conspiracy theory. Okay, here we go. Let's hear this. Now, in my opinion, I've seen this person on Twitter. I've never even seen their stream. If this happened, and we don't know whether this is her accounting of it, we're not sure that this happened. But if it did happen, what do I always say? If you want a behavior to stop, you have to hold people accountable.
Sorry, Cockroach King, key of the fucking rat alarm clock. You've been called out for your filth for fucking like a decade now. Your own fans were like, it's getting a bit much. I gotta be honest. I thought it was kind of epic and based when you were just like this hardcore gamer who like pooped in a sock and had no friends and like, you know, smelt of human fucking disgust and filth. But now you're literally wiping your gums and wiping the blood off your gums because you don't brush your teeth and you have a blood wall.
What? What? You're winning the oozing, bro. Dude, these crash outs are insane. Where do these people come from? This is about the video? What does this have to do with the video? I don't even know who this guy is. Oh my god. He's just talking shit the whole time. They can't argue against the point. Yeah, I guess so. They're attacking him on a personal level. Yeah, exactly. This is nuts. Palestine is against transgender people. Kill them in second thought. I have no idea. And let's see here. You guys giving these lunatics attention? Well, I think it's funny. So just so you guys can see that all of these people are just childish, brain dead morons. And all they do is they resort to personal attacks instantaneously because they don't have anything to argue against. You're just chaining together a bunch of lore things, which, by the way, how do you know this much about me? If you don't like me so much, how do you know all this stuff about me? It's weird. Who does this? And you give them attention? Well, it's okay to give people like this attention every once in a while.
Oh, shit.
And the reason why I think that it's okay is because people like this, I want my audience to see, and I want audiences and people, there's a lot of people watching the show, right? And I just want people to see this is the magnum opus of this type of thinking. Emotionally driven, personal insults. There's no thinking. There's no argumentation. And by the way, I just so we can put some context around this, I said that basically, so there was a school that, again, allegedly, this is very important, and I guess this made, for some reason this set him off. I don't know why. But allegedly had the girls, the actual like biological women, like 13 years old, by the way, that's the age. Having to dress out and change and be in the locker room with a biological male that identified as female. And upon complaints to this, the school not only upheld the decision, and also keep in mind, this is not only did the school uphold this decision, but there was a gender-neutral bathroom that that person wanted to use. But instead of having the one individual person who identified as female, but made the other females uncomfortable because they biologically were not a female, because they're a male, and they're trans, by the way, 13 years old. This is not like, you know, I've gone through hormone treatment, and I've been on it ever since I'm 18, I'm 30 now. No, this is a 13-year-old, like, child. And so the administration actually came in and made sure that the students dressed out and changed while this person that was of the opposite sex was in the room. And in my opinion, I think that, you know, and this is, of course, this is the retelling of it by the mother of one of these girls. So how much of this is true, how much is not, you know, I think that should be decided for the courts, which is the point that I was making in this video, is that if you make a 13-year-old and you compel or pressure a 13-year-old to put themselves in a sexually vulnerable or compromising position against their consent, I think there should be a charge for that. And actually, I don't. I know there should be a charge for that because there already is. And I think that these kinds of people need to be held personally accountable. So I'm glad he made this video because it gives me a point, it gives me a time to reiterate this point. Yeah. Did you actually poop in a sock? No, I don't think so. You said allegedly, but when you present this topic, you cover it as if it's true. Many of your fans think that it's true. And it reinforces biases without actually accounting for the facts. Well, yeah, of course I'm covering it as if it's true. How could we have a conversation about anything without acknowledging that if it's true, then this? Of course. How can you have any theoretical carefully? Why would I need to be careful? So people who want to willfully misunderstand me are going to, like, why would I need to be careful about this? There's nothing to be careful about. The only people that need to be careful are the people that are trying to make kids change in locker rooms with the opposite gender. They need to be careful to make sure they don't get put on a sex offender list. This is disgusting. I need to be careful talking about this. They need to be careful to make sure they're allowed near a school. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. People are trying to tone police me on this. It's outrageous. How do you even talk like that? Fucking facts? I know. It's crazy. Let me see here. And, yeah, disgusting adults making the logo changing. Yeah, exactly. And, what's this here? I couldn't stand it when you cover outer space as if it was true. Yeah, true. But, anyway, yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. No, this is what an outrageous thing to say. If you say allegedly or hypothetically, then how would you even talk about it in any other way? Well, let's get right down to it. This person doesn't want me to talk about it, so they're trying to position me talking about it as if it's bad. That's the reason why. They don't want me to talk about it, and so they're trying to tone police the way that I talk about it in an effort to make me not talk about it. That's what's going on. It's not disgusting with 15 other guys? Yeah, I think so. And we're in a simulation. I can't believe you're covering anything. Yeah, true. Virtue signaling coming close to kids will break the left. It is. And this is weird. But yeah, this is the mind. This is your mind on this type of thinking. It's really weird. But the best thing, and here's the important thing to keep in mind, is that these types of people are destroying their credibility. They're completely unlikable. They're losing in every metric in the free marketplace of ideas. People are universally repudiating them. And we're going back to treating these people like the disagreeable, annoying, weird, aggressive, obnoxious freaks they are. And I am so glad to be a catalyst for that, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it until it's done. When police have tone police as a subject to be an automatic permaban, well, that person is a repeated disagreeer, but they usually do so in a way that's responsible or respectful, so I haven't banned them yet. I recognize their name. And when it's going to be... And when's it going to be done? Probably pretty soon. I can't see something like this lasting for that much longer until people get totally fed up with it. Yeah, I can't believe one of the most balanced reporters and those kind of things I have access to. I'm disappointed in all media at this point. It's crazy how bad it's gotten. Well, that's the reason why a lot of people watch my videos about these topics. It's because I do provide balanced coverage for it, and I try to be fair. Most other people don't try to be fair. They try to push an agenda, and they disrespect the intelligence of their audience by doing so.
Fucking am I?
It's sad, but that's what happens. And I think also a lot of them are just like, this person is just completely emotionally compromised. It's not worth taking them seriously at all. But there's unfortunately a lot of people that are like that. Would you watch Ben Shapiro's case for Derek Chauvin? I'm not going to watch it on stream, but if you want to send it to me on Discord or something, yeah, I might watch it. Sure. And but I mean, again, it's probably not going to change my opinion, but I don't know what it says, so I'm not sure. This is what I watched. Statistically obvious, yeah. But with the banhammer, respectable. Yeah, I try to be reasonable with this stuff. It's not going to end. There's going to be an incident. The parents pop off. Then both sides are going to weaponize the pop-off and the incident. Culture wars suck. No, I think that, I really do think that a lot of average Americans see this, and it's just so, just completely disgusting that I actually think that, I think people are totally tired of it. I do. I think that they're completely fatigued from this behavior. Anyway, what's this? Make Azeroth. I think that I think my eyes are a little bit too close together too. I do. The classic Asmongold argument. All normal people agree with me. Well, let me ask you this. So if I pull up a poll that shows that 80% of people agree with this viewpoint, what would you say then? Well, let's see. It depends on the poll. Okay, well, when polled, about 80% of people are against trans athletes competing in sports, against their against the opposite gender. And I think that you can easily assume that every single person that thinks that probably doesn't want to have underage people having to dress out and change clothes in front of the opposite gender. Is that a logical conclusion that you would draw? And the media, okay, right. So it's all about the poll and the media conducting the poll. Yes, obviously, right. It's obviously this. And so, yeah, time to show him. Yeah, he doesn't do logic. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, this is done by CNN. That might be true, but it's bad faith argumentation. And what do you mean by it being bad faith argument? I understand. What does that mean? Like, I understand what you're categorizing it as. Everybody can understand that. But what do you mean by that?
I need
work cycle interrupted.
Because you're saying if 80% agrees with me and I'm right, well, your media and your polls skew it in your audience's favor. Yeah, well, I'm not polling my audience. If I was polling my audience, I think you'd have a great point, but I'm not.
Goods for Outlanders.
So,
my thanks for your patronage.
You can't come up with a good argument to cement your point, so you just state everybody agrees with me? Okay. I don't think that if somebody is underage, I don't think that they should be treated as if they're the opposite gender. I don't think this is beneficial for anyone. And I don't think that any person, any underage person, should be required to or expected to dress out in front of the opposite gender.
What is your command?
Do you think 13-year-olds should be compelled to dress out in front of people of the opposite gender? I don't even disagree with that point. Of course not, because you can't. You know that if you disagree with that point, people are going to think that you're a freak. That's the whole point. And again, like, this is the reason I banned this person is because this is, so are you for this? Your whole media, it's right-wing propaganda. All this person does is intentionally misunderstand me in every way possible, argue with the worst faith imaginable, and then act like that's what I was doing, right? Like, it's, get out of here. It's just a weird. But I just want you guys to see that this is, what do you call it? This is what happens. This is how these people think.
Peruse my inventory again.
That's the way the majority believes it. You couldn't even deny it either. Yeah, of course. It's common sense. I don't think anyone should be treated anyway because of their gender. I think there's right and wrong, and that's it. Yeah, sure. And let's see here. I'll go back. I'll read a few more of these comments, okay? And straight men confirm or deny. Who's the hottest straight man? Henry Cavill. I think a lot of people would probably come to that same conclusion. Absolutely. Proof that Biden was unaware of his own executive orders.
I started requesting a meeting with the president.
I think I've seen this before, but because it's relevant again with the pardons, we'll watch it.
I have an extended supply of goods for Outlanders.
Why are you gonna buy so much of this shit for?
For your patronage.
Great national interest and calamity, but they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving me excuses.
Can't talk to
like
him.
8 or 9
Oh, use the thing, fucker.
Volume's as high as it's gonna get.
Line of the presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him. We had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill press corps and said, the president is not being allowed to meet with the speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the president. It's also
a bunch of other people.
Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, the CIA director, everybody. And then, so I walked in the Oval and I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. This is probably third week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The president reaches over just like this. We're sitting in the right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, "The Speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Would y'all just leave us alone?" And I
Do
looked
you
up
have
on the
a
faces of some of the
theory?
staff standing around the wall, and they're like, "No."
They're gonna figure it out.
He did it,
May
so
the
he called
Titans
us.
carve
Chief,
your
so everybody
path.
leaves. He and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office,
Josh
right over
Elroy.
the coffee table. And I said, "Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard, and I think you know, and what do we do?" But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my
Auto pen, more like auto president. It's bad, man. This is really bad.
Constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand. Liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you
How
do
can I
that?
make
You
4 of
understand-
those?
We just talked about
Doesn't
Ukraine.
seem right.
You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him. And he looks at me, stunned, with his, and he said, I didn't do that." I said, "Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, 3 weeks ago." He said, "I didn't do that." And he's arguing with me. I said, "Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that." And he goes, "Oh, you talk about natural gas." "Yes, sir." He said, "No, you misunderstand." He said, "What I did is I signed this thing that we're going to conduct a study on the effects of LNG." I said, "No, you're
We
not,
will
sir. You
continue
paused it. I
speaking
know. I
later.
have the terminal, the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning.
This
This
is
doing
terrifying.
massive damage to our economy."
It is, bro. This is like Theoden and Rohan. Straight up. Except instead of 1 Grima Wormtongue, you've got apparently 5.
Core alloy. What is fucking core alloy?
It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me.
It's
He
really
genuinely
bad.
Did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought,
I
we're in
have
serious
calibrated
trouble
my
here.
Yeah.
prices to be reasonable.
Yeah, who's doing this? Who did it? Yeah, we literally didn't have
My
a president
directive
for
has
4
been
years.
fulfilled.
It certainly
Core
seems that
alloy.
way. It does. It's shocking. Did you hear what AutoPen actually means in this case? It's an actual robot pen that signs the document. Wait, so it's not like DocuSign? I just assumed it was an e-signature. Look it up. Wait.
No, what is this?
What?
555. Ironclad Dirk. Good Ironclad Dirk.
With a shocking claim on social media, saying President Biden's preemptive pardons for
You're
members
just not
of
seeing
the
this? Yeah, I thought this was like DocuSign.
House January 6th committee investigating the attacks on the Capitol are, quote, void, vacant, and of no further force or effect. Why? The president claiming Biden used a device known as
Great
an
axe.
AutoPen to sign them.
Who was signing all this stuff by AutoPen? Who would think you signed important documents by AutoPen?
The evidence for that claim appearing to come from a recent
Hello,
Heritage Foundation post on Twitter,
Hi.
showing differences in Biden's signatures in the Federal Register.
You don't use AutoPen. It's, number one, it's disrespectful to the office. Number two, maybe it's not even valid.
President Biden has not publicly remarked on Trump's post, and a spokesperson didn't reply to a request for comment from NBC News. But experts say even if he did use an AutoPen, that wouldn't make his orders illegitimate.
The text of the Constitution in Article 1 refers to the president signing it. It doesn't say literally whether that must be, by.
I actually agree with him. And I think if the president had the intent to do it, and the intent was stated and it was done with AutoPen, I think it would be, like, in my mind, it would be fine. But the problem is that when you have the Speaker of the House saying he didn't know what he signed, and then, so, like, you have, all right, there's one bubble, and it says things are being signed with a machine and not actually Biden, and then you have the other bubble, and it says Biden didn't know what he signed. Oh.
Collapse.
Uh-oh.
Could just make
Uh-oh, now we got some problems.
darken.
His physical hand or not,
A 2005 Department of Justice memo explicitly stating that a president does not need to personally sign bills and that the president may direct, quote, a subordinate to affix the president's signature to such a bill.
Exactly, but he would know what the bill is, and he would still be giving consent to the bill. But if he doesn't even know what the bill is, then how could he have consented to it? What's going on? But he didn't, yes.
For example, by AutoPen.
The Office of Legal Counsel issued an opinion that AutoPen signatures are okay, but that doesn't have the same force as, say, a court actually making that determination or Congress, say, weighing in on the issue.
But what exactly is an AutoPen? Put simply,
it's a fucking machine. I thought this was like DocuSign, where like you click the button and it like signs your name in cursive. It's a fucking machine. It's a robot.
Device that uses a pen to recreate signatures or handwriting, even if the, quote, signer is not in the room. President Obama apparently became the first president to use an AutoPen to sign an actual bill when he extended the Bush-era Patriot Act while he was in France. A move that...
Man. Couldn't miss that one.
That caused a bit of a stir at the time.
Use of the AutoPen must be directed directly by the president.
But it's been used
and I think that's fine. That's fair. That's totally fair. I know that obviously everybody wants to everybody's always out for blood with this kind of stuff.
The Titans will return.
Intent is what matters.
Be ready.
Did the president have the intent of signing this bill? Well, I would argue if he didn't know what the bill was, he couldn't have had the intent to sign it. But that's just me.
The White House for decades, even centuries, for things like written communications and autograph requests. The Thomas Jefferson Foundation says our third president was known to use a precursor to the AutoPen known as a polygraph for making a copy of handwritten letters.
He's fucking 80.
President Harry Truman is often said to be the first president to use a fully robotic AutoPen in the 1950s.
Didn't he get like a stroke or some shit, so he fucked up, so he couldn't write?
Kennedy was said to be such a prolific user of the AutoPen that it became...
right. And so, like, logically, right, if the president... Because you think about this logically. If the president cannot use his hands and he okays the use of somebody else to effectively sign for him, this is still, like, the signature itself is a representation of consent, not consent itself. Totally different? Yeah. Should use his feet? Completely different? I don't think it's different. But anyway, it doesn't matter, right? Because it seems like he didn't even know.
The subject of a book,
a
robot that helped make a president. And Lyndon Johnson's use of the machine even made the cover of the National Enquirer in 1968. Regardless of how AutoPen has been used in the past, it's important to note that looking at signatures' digital copies in the Federal Register might not be the best way to see how a document was signed. The National Archives, which runs the Federal Register, telling fact-checker Snopes each new administration provides a digital signature file for the Federal Register, quote, which uses it to create the graphic image for all presidential documents published.
Okay.
NBC News asked the National Archives for comment and has yet to hear back. But that's why many Biden signatures would look the same, as would President Trump's signatures in the Federal Register, from both his first term and this one.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated.
So, I just think that, I think that by itself, this isn't problematic.
I think a lot of journalists in this room should be asking about whether or not the former president of the United States, who I think we can all finally agree was cognitively impaired. I know it took people some time to finally admit that, but we all know that to be true, as evidenced by his disastrous debate performance against President Trump during the campaign.
That's, of course, the only evidence.
Press on that. But the president was raising the point that did the president even know about these pardons? Was his legal signature used without his consent or knowledge? And And that's not just the president or me raising those questions, Caitlin. According to the New York Post, there are Biden officials from the previous White House who raised those questions and wondered if the president was even consulted about his legally binding signature being signed onto documents. And so I think it's a question that everybody in this room should be looking into, because